afternoon and welcome to the Polity on Kaftan TV. We are going to have an interesting discussion today looking at the election in Anambra State, where of course the APGA had emerged as the winning party. My name is Osaretin Osadebamwen, and with me to have this discussion today is no other person but the public analyst, our in-house public analyst, Mr. Chukwuma Ojelade.
Yeah, good to be here. Thank you very much for having me.
Thank you for joining us, sir. Today we shall be looking at the election in Anambra with over 70% winning. Well, the question is it a reflection of democracy in a part in the country where every person is running to the APC? But here a governor stood with his party, remained in his party, and then came out victorious after the election, while others are busy running to another party. In looking at this election that took place in about 21 local government areas and over 5,720, about 5,720 polling units, it is very interesting to know that winning across all the local governments is indeed a mark of good governance that the people may have experienced, and for their desire to have a second experience of it in the term of 4 years, they have given their mandate to the APGA candidate in the person of Charles Chukwuma Soludo, who is indeed a professor that has once left his footprint in the Central Bank of Nigeria. If you talk about needs, you know you are talking about somebody who did some good thing at the time. So, is the election a reflection of what actually the result is a reflection of what actually transpired in the field? So that question, in looking at it and having a discussion on the lines are turned open for conversation, you join us to tell us whether it is or not. But here, sir, I will start with you. 21 local governments, about 320 or 334, wards. And then you have 5,720 polling units. And then the result is saying that in each of the local government, the governor was able to poll as much as 422,000 votes, knocking off all the opposition, taking about 70% of the votes. What do you say to that?
Thank you very much once again for having me. I think the results is to a very large extent, as we hear from so many sources now, to a very large extent the true situation, the true outcome of what transpired on Saturday. We want to believe so, and from all that we can see, it is so. Have you had opponents shouting hoax? Yes, one or two of them.
Even the ones shouting, you begin to wonder why they are shouting, given the number of votes that such a person polled. So it is not at all what it's not the shouting that one will listen to.
Listen to. And again, have you heard of a situation where even the independent observers, their reports, largely, there is no, as we used to have in the past, when the whole nation will have been inundated with hue and cries.
About the outcome of the election.
Yes. It's like even the independent observers too, they agree that INEC did something on Saturday in Anambra State. We've not even heard of violence. Violence. You remember how Anambra was? Anambra was a hotbed.
At a time where a governor was even kidnapped while in office.
Yes.
That was the former governor and former minister of labor, a PDP governor, of course, in the days of the PDP. Yes, and permit me in the days of his own brigade, they just so in power.
But one of the reasons why the people of Anambra seem to like Soludo is in bringing sanity to that state. In terms of the level of killing that we witnessed in recent times.
Prior to his emergence as governor.
He actually took the fight to the marauders and was able to bring sanity there. We shall be coming to
the factors that actually propelled and gave him this advantage, as it were. But it is important for us to look at the data as they spoke. Now, if you look at it, Soludo's votes amounting to about 422,000 plus votes that he got, which marked about 72% of the entire vote, is actually a vote gotten from about 21% of the entire registered voters, because the state has about I think about 2.8 voters, 2.8 million registered voters, yes. and then registered voters. Then about 2.7 PVCs were over 2.7 PVCs were actually collected, and from 2.7 million PVCs, you are having 400,000. 500. Yes, 500. The total people who came out, 500, representing about 21% of the people. In any case, it appears to be a reflection actually of the will and the people of the state. Now, looking at the data, will it though he's wrong, that is the authoritative body has declared, but when you have only 21% of the population being the one to decide for about 100% of the population, is it not a thing to worry about, talking about voters' apathy?
Yes, it is. It is. It sure is. When less than how many percent of the total registered voters,
about 21%,
to vote, it's bad enough. But that has been the sad story. The sad story of election in Nigeria. I think they even did well in Anambra this time around.
Given the security reality.
Yes. Nobody, not many expected that we are going to have this level of sanity in the polity, in our electoral system this soon. If you know where we're coming from. I think not very many people are still not convinced that it was safe to come out on Saturday to go and vote. That must have accounted for it. Anambra is coming from a very, very dark past in terms of electoral violence during elections and violence generally on the streets. So I even want to commend those who the 22% of total that came out to vote. It must have been a product of the assurances and the commitment and the level of work done by the Soludo administration that encouraged people to actually come out the way they did. There are so many reasons for voter apathy, and I think we'll get to it in the course of this election. 22% of total registered voters is poor, very poor, and I think the electoral bodies and other stakeholders should still work very hard so that we can have better figures in 2027.
The statistics, of course, are very interesting when you look at them in Anambra State. The governor, of course, had a landslide victory from the voters who come out to vote. And if you look at the the first runner-up, which is the APC,
yes.
Coming behind with
88.
Is it 88 or 70? What's it called? 88,000 votes. Is actually a thing that clearly shows that Soludo, in the course of his 4-year tenure, never took the electorate for granted.
Yes. Yes.
That is what other governors across the country should learn.
Yes.
It is not about deferring to the central authority. It is about believing that all politics are local. And because they are local, you pay attention to why you were voted in the first place and make sure that you are working on it. You may not be able to totally do everything, but the people would have seen some progress. And one of the stories they talk about in Anambra said is that he paid attention to rural roads, connecting many of the hinterlands to themselves,
yes.
so that they can be able to move product from one community to the next community, because there are a traditional African setting. You have market days in different communities across a state, and so in that state, he made sure that roads connecting different communities, some 30 kilometers apart are connected, so that it is easier for any of the traders of the food traders to move their goods from one of the community to the other one.
Yes.
And that, of course, for them is a good thing. It is not as if he has done it all over the state, but those who heard,
so substantial,
and for them, there are signs that he's coming to do for them. They decided to give a vote. That is how it is for any governor.
Yes.
Any governor any local government chairman, any governor who wants to win the heart of the people, because in democracy, it is the votes of the people that speak, and that vote speak only when the people are convinced that whoever is seeking the office is worthy of that office.
Yes, I want to add that don't forget Soludo's pedigree. He's a fantastic economist, and I think he has just demonstrated that in governance. He has indeed walked the talk. Is one of the very good tenets of development, that it is better, development is better bottom up. I think Soludo knows that very well, and politics is about the people at the grassroots. If you are able to touch them, they are very loyal. They are not contaminated like the city people, like the big time politicians. They are the ones that speak grammar. Those are the grassroots. Once you give them what they want, they stay loyal to you. That's exactly what has happened. He has been able to connect with them. He has been able to reach out to them. He has been able to satisfy some of their needs, and they believe that we can trust this man, and that's exactly what has happened. Again, don't forget, politics too is always religion too is very, very critical. APGA belongs to the Catholic Church. A substantial member
of his membership,
yes,
are members of the Catholic Church,
and is a very strong Catholic. Catholicism is entrenched
in
Anambra State. So for you to
galvanize,
yes, it is easier when you reach the people through their faith, especially when they see you as a member of our faith. We are listening to the same sermon. We belong to the same church. We belong to the same authority of the church, and this my fellow church member cannot fail. That is also very, very key. And so anyway, we get to that. Soludo played this politics, and he played it very well. Anyway, in the course of the program, we'll talk more about it.
What is interesting about the election in the state is that after the election, like our guest here said earlier, how many persons, what are the hue and cry that you heard post-election? Of course, the issue of violence that is reported today about the election is after the whole, it is not at all within the election, during the election period. It is for those who are returning home. There's a story of course, that is of this story of a soldier being shot by, sorry, a policeman being shot by an army personnel, which of course the police authorities there are saying they have resolved the matter. They've been able to get to the issue. It was a misunderstanding between them at checkpoints. Of course, that of course will be because there was deployment of security personnel to ensure that
it was huge.
They ensure that whatever threat was going to come from the IPOB elements, as it were, are contained.
Yes.
And I think they also decided not to even do anything, knowing that for the benefit of the seat, for the good transition of power from one person to for easy seamless transition of power from one authority to the other, it's important that they allow that election to hold. And
you see, they wouldn't have allowed it to hold if not for the
deployment of the show of force
presence. Yes. It's been a recurring argument about our electoral system, that why do you militarize elections in Nigeria? But the truth is that a state like Anambra, I keep talking about where Anambra is coming from, it will have been very, very difficult to have this kind of very safe election if the authorities had taken things for granted. With the heavy security presence, it even gives the electorate too the assurances that nothing can go wrong. Almost all the polling units, you have a good presence of security. So it strengthens the resolve of the people to come out and vote. So when people know that if I go out, nothing, I'll be able to vote and come back home, it's an assurance for them to want to come out. And I also think that many people also believe that okay, we now have a new INEC chairman. Let's give him the benefit of the doubt that this one is going to do things differently. So that's another reason, maybe another reason why the people came out to come and vote. But the most important one is that the hoodlums, the troublemakers, were kept out of the show. Yes.
And that, of course, made the election come, and it has come and gone.
Yes.
In a way that it is very, very sweet to the ears.
Yes.
When we think of democracy. We shall be taking a break, but before we do that, it is important I share with you that when we return, we'll be looking at the factors that propel Soludo back to power. And then we'll be looking also at the IRF portal, the performance of the IRF portal during the election.
Yes.
You know, for about I think about 19 hours of the election period, of the whole process, election, counting of votes, saying of the what we call the ballot papers and the rest of it, collation of the ballot papers, counting of the vote, and then the recording of the votes as well. By the time it got to when what they call the various polling units were sending in their result to the portal, of course we didn't have the experience of glitches. That of course is something we Nigerians will be happy to hear and experience in future elections. There are more tests, as it were. There's the Oshun, I think, and there's the Ekiti also ahead for INEC to show if this direction is actually what it should be. But we will take a break. When we return, we'll look at all this. Welcome back to the Polity. Here on Captain TV, we are reaching you from the Federal Capital Territory here in Abuja, where of course we are having a very sunny day as it is, and we're enjoying it, of course. And with me here in the studio is our public analyst, Mr. Chukwuma Ojelade, and we have been discussing the beauty of democracy, as it were, in Anambra State.
Yes. And
as we come back, I've just told you we'll be looking at factors that propel the emergence of the incumbent governor. Let us start by looking at the incumbency factor of the governor in Anambra State. To what extent do you think this made him
played out?
Yeah, made him succeed.
I think the power of incumbency is very potent, especially in Nigeria politics. It is because the incumbent has access to so many things, including public resources. He can use the resources of state to fight his enemy, both at state and at federal level, that is. So
with this record of 72%, what do you call it, 20, the closest was just it was just 22%, the next is 18%. I'm still
going.
You didn't need to beat on any fight.
I think Soludo now merged the power of incumbency with performance.
Okay.
That's what worked really hard for him. Really made things easier for him in this election. It was very obvious to the people, to the electorate, that the governor has performed. And probably they look at his opponents and they felt that I think we can trust this one more than these ones. Yes. And I think the power of incumbency was potent, because there is no politician in Nigeria that will not use it to advantage. But Soludo now added more to it by his performance in office. He was able to connect with the people. That's key. That's very, very important. And then he doesn't immerse himself into any form of controversies. And he comes clean. You know that almost, even when many people were criticizing the federal administration, Soludo comes out to talk professionally, not politics. He analyzes the political economy of the country, and I think he was connecting with his people, not politics but facts. They see him as a very intelligent person,
and demonstrating it as
well. He's demonstrating it as well. I think Soludo is a rare politician. And one step
again. Internal democracy, of course, would have been a factor that made him had enough time and energy to focus on the required deployment of personnel and resources and what they call that will be required for the election. Is it a plus, given Nigerian political reality in different political parties, where the choice of candidates for an election is one that is met with several conflicts? In the case of Soludo, we never had people coming to say they are going to fight against him and the rest of it after whatever primaries that brought him out. Do you see that as a plus to his emergence? Because did it provide him any kind of advantage?
I think the credit for that should go to his party. I think APGA is a senior political party in the country as at today, especially if it comes to the politics of the southeast.
And again, from ANAMBRA, where wealth speaks amongst men.
Yes. So I want to believe that even during the process of electing him as the flag bearer for this election, there was no form of controversy. It was very smooth. This is how politics should be played. You know, when you see somebody that is capable, somebody that fits the office, we should all queue behind him. It's not so in other parties. You just mentioned something about Anambra State, where wealth speaks. Almost every household has
you challenge other.
Yes.
You don't feed me.
You don't, at all.
Well, I know the number of industries I have locally and abroad.
Yes, and for them to still rally around him, a candidate, shows that they have a lot of respect for him. We may not be able to say that much after 4 years of Soludo, but for now, I think APGA is a very senior party, political party, and that is why we were able to see the emergence of Soludo, and we were able to see other members of the APGA group queuing behind him to fight side by side with him in this election. I think it's internal democracy played a major role.
There was one story that, of course, disturbing and very common in Nigerian politics, which is vote buying. They talked about vote buying. They were accusing themselves of vote buying.
Yeah, they all do it. They all do it. It is those that have the upper hand that is criticized.
Okay.
Those that lost, we try to exonerate themselves. I never attempted it, but all of them do it at one point or the other. What do you call vote buying? When do you buy votes? They buy votes at every turn and bend in the electoral process, and they carry it to the polling units. It's everywhere. Don't let any politician tell you that I never did it before. No, they all do it. But the capacity or the capability or the ability to do it differs. That's what we witness in our system. They say some people share 2,000, some 3, some 10. They are even alleging that 20. In fact, there are politicians that will tell you that why do I need to go for campaigns and spend money on campaigns? I'd rather take the money to the polling units on election day and distribute it. So when you vote and we see your votes, we give you the money. They are still saying it. If it didn't happen much in Anambra State, we're still going to see it. But in Anambra State, I think it reduced to a level that very many of us are wondering whether that was Nigeria. Things would have been worse if not for some of the things that are on ground, which we may not know. This election don't go like this in Nigeria. No, it does.
What do you mean election don't go like this in Nigeria? How did it go that elections don't go in Nigeria? They did not scatter ballots at the polling units. So it's an advancement in the Nigeria experience of democracy.
Of course, it's an advancment. Yes, people cried about failure of Balvas.
The Balvas machine.
Yes, in some places. But it was not as rife or rampant as it used to be. No, maybe there's something about Anambra State. Maybe they don't even have villages.
Now, let us look at this factor. Is it because there is a new chairman of the party with a more strict directive to the INEC officials who were deployed there or the ad hoc staff? Or is it because it is an offline election and so there was enough security personnel to be deployed? Let us look at this vis-a-vis the vis-a-vis general election and some other elections like the one we had in Kogi. The one we had.
the most important factor that I see is the fact that it's just a state election, just one state, just one state.
So they could deploy what's on the state.
All attention, all resources could be concentrated there. All thinking, knowledge, abilities
implemented
there. So I think the template was followed.
The electoral template
was followed
in Anambra.
Yes, and the resources were not thinned out.
And the beavers, there was issue of beavers malfunctioning in some polling units. Of course, and it was not significant to have caused any problem to the final outcome.
No inconclusive election because substantially the machines behaved.
And the officers were able to operate them effectively, at least in more places than necessary.
So many things came to play. It even speaks to the knowledge, the competence of the electoral officials. You know, when we now go to general elections, then it is then that you now see that there are some places where to get the requisite number of
personnel and their capacity.
The problem, probably the political parties were able to deploy agents to the polling units, and so they were able to monitor the process themselves, and they all saw that, well, what happened was substantially okay. But there will be elections, especially in 2027, where political parties may not have polling agents in many polling units, and so many things can happen.
There are 90,000 polling units,
and so things can happen. Even those that do not want to be engaged in sharp practices, because there is nobody watching them, and there is consensus among the few that are available, or maybe there is enough resources to buy, to give the opponents to agents to find somewhere and go and cool off, go to that beer parlor, go and drink, where we conclude the elections for you. When you just come back, just come and say, so many things will happen when it is general election. But in this one, everybody is able to watch. The police, the security agencies, the political parties and their agents, and the observers. The resources were concentrated. So that could account for much of this sanity that we witness in this election. When it is general election, it's to be a different ball game. So and then the RF.
The transmission of results.
Yes, transmission of results.
We're just almost every 30
it was just rolling in.
30 minutes, we're just seeing upload.
If you check your phone.
After 30 minutes, when you check again.
I will say that I will ascribe it to what I've just said. How many? It's
a single state. Just five less than 6,000 polling units.
Not enough to crash the RIF. Not enough. So, but when across the country figures starts flying into the system, we may be having a different story. So I believe that whatever INEC has done to make the reporting portal work this time around, they should strengthen it. They must not they must not rest on their horse to say that yes, it is not yet Uhuru, it is not yet Uhuru now. INEC must go back, sit up, look at what they did right in this election and perfect it, improve upon it for the general elections. Oh well, maybe before the general election, improve upon it to the 2 off-season elections
ahead
that are still ahead. Yes.
Now, I will need to share your thoughts with viewers on the challenge of delayed arrival of materials. There was, of course, a report of delayed arrival of materials. Were there cases of it, a report that it affected? Did you have any report that it affected the conclusion of the voting process?
No, not really affecting conclusion. It only stretched at the time. Yeah. Because there were still some polling units where voting was still going on by around 4 o'clock. And that's not good. It's not good for the INEC officials, the electoral officials. It's not good for the electorate. Somebody that left his house before 7
in the morning
and is still at the polling unit by 4 p.m. The whole day is wasted. That should not be the purpose of election. Election is not supposed to be that strenuous for anybody. It's you get at most 1 hour, 2 hours. Yes, at most 1 hour, 2 hours. Things should be concluded. But when it's now stretched, and the reason for that is that there are some polling units where you have up to 1,000
voters.
That's not good. that is recipe for crisis. So when you have 1,000, maybe 600 crowding the electoral officials at a period, you are looking for trouble. So, but I think in terms of arrival of materials, we didn't have much delays. Although there are places where the INEC officials got there past 8 to 9, yes, in some locations. But I think it was not enough to rubbish the process. And at the end of the day, not many people were disenfranchised as a result of that. What I heard was that there was somebody who could not vote. He could not vote because he didn't have his permanent voter card, and he came with a temporary one. And the man was a 96-year-old, and the officials were not able to help him initially. So I think there are situations like that. So what do we advise? If you don't have your permanent voter card now,
you cannot take it and go and get it.
Go ahead and get it now before 2027
general election.
If you are having challenges at your local government INEC headquarters, upscale it. Go find a way to go to the state headquarters of INEC and ensure that you correct it. You get your card. If you have moved, find a way to ensure that you regularize your voting details so that you'll be able to vote, so that there will not be stories that have been disenfranchised. Yeah.
Now, the APGA is obviously excited at the win that it has had, and it's a further demonstration of his level of dominance in the politics of that state in the past 20 years. Since Peter Obi became governor on that platform, he handed over to Obiano, who also has handed over to Soludo. And it is clear that the people of Anambra State are very, very decisive on their choice of a party that they will use to advance their own democracy, advance their own development, advance their own society. Other parts of the country have had other political parties, many of whom have fused into either the PDP or the All Progressive Congress. And their reason for it is obvious. It is selfish for those who were in office at the time. But we have seen the consistencies in the past 20 years with which APGA has maintained dominance in Anambra State, ensuring that it serves the interest of the people. And that was what makes it easy for the governor to have emerged with this kind of landslide result. I was reading an article this afternoon where someone said it is the second time any person will win every local government in recent time. The first was said to be Obiano himself after coming into power. Now, this clear statement gives a direction of what the people want. The challenge now is on the party to ensure that it does not betray the trust of the people who have, in spite of all odds, the Enugu state governor was giving an excuse for moving from PDP to the APC. He said it is because of his people. He wants them to benefit from the central. Now, with this reality, you now begin to ask, is the governor in Anambra State not willing to make his own people benefit from the central? Of course not. He is certain that the benefit from the central is legitimately the prerogative of the state to earn, get, and benefit from the nation. And what are these? Allocation. 1. Patronages that are necessary. 2. In terms of programs or policies that are directed to people. And if the governor is able to convince the national leadership, even the central bank, or whatever agencies of the federal government that has to do that, it certainly will have to do that to the people. It's not about moving from one party to the other. This success further reinforces the belief that all politics are local. And so it is for every politician to make himself relevant locally before he begins to talk about or aspiring for national relevance. Now, we shall be looking...
let me make one or two comments on that. You see the fear of belonging to federal, like you quoted the Enugu state government, moving its people closer to federal level. That fear is very potent in Nigeria.
And why is it potent?
Don't let us belittle it. I remember at the start of this dispensation. This, when the whole of the Southwest
was AD.
And Obasanjo was president in Abuja. And what the PDP then
did
through Obasanjo was campaigning that why do you want to stay away from the federal? Why do you want to be different? Stop playing opposition, come and join so that you can benefit more from the system, meaning that if you don't belong, whether rightly or wrongly, some things you will not benefit from at the federal level. It is happening. It is still happening, even up till now in Nigeria. That's how we play our politics. It's just unfortunate, you know. But you see, talking about Soludo, I think Soludo too knows this.
He knows it very well. He was central bank governor under the PDP.
He saw how money was moving to the states. What did he do? When Soludo, when he speaks, you even believe, you even think he's a member of the APC. He is so close to the presidency. He is so close to the federal level, both in terms of analysis of what the federal is doing. He understands the administration, the federal administration.
And he communicates it as it is. He communicates
it. If he has any criticism of the federal administration, he knows how he goes about it with them. He doesn't go on air to criticize because of being in opposition. No, he speaks as a professional, like I said earlier. So you will not even know that Soludo belongs to a different political party. Again, do not forget that the man is in contact with his people, and he knows the feelings of his people. They are not ready to leave their APGA. They are not ready. They are not ready to play politics with APGA.
Which means people are convinced of the political party they want to remain in.
And that is working for them. For instance, now, all the other political parties, they want to be national. They want to be national political parties. Whereas some of them can only manage their states. Some of them they cannot even be champions in one or two local governments where they operate. But they want to claim national. And when they fail, they start looking for who to blame. APGA, I think APGA is satisfied being, I'm sorry to say, a regional party of the Southeast. They are holding their ground to some extent in many of the states until the likes of Enugu, the likes of Imo, and the rest of them are jumping ship to other political parties. But in Anambra State, they have stayed true
to the party.
No, and I think it's because of the people not necessarily the governor.
Apparently, the people must take a decision of where they want to stay.
Yes.
Once the people stay where they want to stay, whatever the governor does, he knows that he is either at war with his people,
yes,
or he is at peace with them.
So
the governor of Anambra State was not interested in being at war with his people.
Yes, I want to see how he's going to play his card in 2027.
But before then, we need to look at, you made in making an analogy, you spoke about the PDP when Obasanjo was in power in PDP, and then the AD states in the Southwest.
Yes.
And then each of the Southwest were plugged out of the AD into the PDP. But there was one part of the branch that made itself a tree, which is the Lagos State governor, who today is the president.
Yes.
Now, is it not curious that the man who withstood a national party that was seeking to plug off another party is the one championing this recent campaign to ensure that every other person moved from other party to the APC,
you see,
which is Libya.
You see, I think what played out at that time is different from what is playing out now.
He stood his ground at that time. You remember the AD. Even when there was the issue of creation of the World Development, and the OBJ said no, Community Development Associations. And he said no, he cannot release money for local government for it to be given to this area. So therefore, it's going to withhold it until they banish those, also until they scrap or revert them. And the governor said no. And he went. He stayed until the next governor benefited from that. So
even up till now, sorry, just 1 minute. Even up till now, allocation is not going to the CDA. So we have so many CDAs
in every state,
in every other state.
Yes,
allocation is not going to them. It is the allocation to the state. The constitution recognizes only 774. It is the 20 local governments that you have in your state. They give you the money. It is the state government. That's why this
joint account.
That's why the joint account was created, and that is why sending money straight to the local government now is not working, because they have CDAs, that must also be fed, and they can only be fed from state IGR.
It's an aberration. It's an aberration, of course. It's of course an aberration to the constitution.
It is an aberration. It's not supposed to be happening, but in so many states it is happening. The reason is that the governors, they want to bring more boys, give more boys job. They want to give them jobs. They want
for political advantage.
For political advantage. That's exactly what is happening now. Those ones are now foot soldiers into the hinterlands for the politicians. That's just a digression. What I'm saying is that what played out at the start of this dispensation is probably not what is happening now. That time, I think politics was still staying. We were still, to some extent, still standing on ideology. AD, then we claim we belong to the progressives. We say that we are still following the thinking of Aulo. So very many of them, until Obasanjo actually played them.
He did.
Obasanjo deceived many of the governors.
And the present governor refused to believe whatever antics.
Because he knows him. He knows him very well. But very many, they played
into him, and then he swept them off.
Till today, there are still some of them that
who still hold anger against
eye to eye. I know somebody. One of them I worked very closely with that time. But now, it is now survival of the fittest.
By virtue of your connection to your root.
Yes. And now, the politics of Nigeria now is more virulent. You have to know those that are for you now. That Tinubu must ensure that he has a block vote in the south, because he doesn't know what could happen in the north.
Okay.
So there is need for him to galvanize the political opinion of the south. he needs to be sure that he has a substantial figures are coming from the south for him in 2027 election, and that is what is driving this one. Forget the issue of going one party state. Nigeria can never, constitutionally, is not going to happen. The constitution recognizes multi-party system. So there is no way whatever politicians do, except the constitution is
amended. That such amendment is not in the near future.
It's not.
If it will ever be.
Yes, but they can go through all their shenanigans, you know. But the country remains a multi-party state. How can APC close its eyes to the lure of having more
persons? The president said it when he was presenting the 2025 budget in the National Assembly, where he said that he is very delighted to see the opposition in tatters. How would he not be? How would he not be enjoyed when it is what he wanted?
Yes.
The more you are in tatters, the more galvanized, the more galvanized I am.
In fact, the constitution says when they are in tatters, you can leave.
You can leave. It is actually interesting looking at the election in Anambra State. Many people would have wondered that a party like the ADC, which party itself has been the party that had come out of the PDP with very big names in the party, believing that they can make a mark, and the off-cycle elections from which people like the public had expected to see them make an outstanding performance, it appeared that they are not making such record. The recent one being the Anambra State election, the ADC is not seen to have come among even the top 5.
I think Anambra would have been, for anybody to have expected ADC to make a strong showing, it can't be in Anambra State.
Oh, it's not in Anambra. No. Okay, for you, the party, there's no problem with the party not making any issue there because the state does not offer the fertile ground for it to be able to do anything.
I think we are counting the number of states now where they have failed. We know that El-Rufai failed in Kaduna State. Peter Obi just failed in Anambra
his home state.
He was beaten
in his own ward.
He was beaten.
He lost in his own polling unit.
He was beaten. ADC needs to show Nigerians that they are really on ground anywhere. Forget the noise. Election is not noise. Election is not about noise.
It's about numbers.
It's about numbers.
And the numbers are what speaks in the election. And they should have
showed it here now in Anambra State that they are on ground. How about PDP?
PDP of course was disgraced at the election, pulling out with less than 1,500 votes.
Do you know what happened?
Why they think that a party that was once in power in that state, a party that is considered to be the national major opposition, to have gone to a place like Anambra, supposedly one of its traditional places before now, and coming out with that kind of figure, is really the figures showing from the from the election that 144 was it called? I mean, it's not something to talk about. I think the party will not be happy to say that itself.
Long before now, we were talking about it. PDP when it took them to have their primaries, unfortunately their flag bearer is a friend. You know, we were telling them, even the selection or the election of the flag bearer was quite rancorous. Who is the big wig from the party that went there to campaign for the candidates? They were busy punching themselves in Abuja, while other political parties were on the field campaigning. And what would they even campaign about? What? When the house is fraternized. So that's why in anything human beings do, they should be very mindful of tomorrow. Some of those things they were doing over the years, they are now paying dearly for it now in elections. There are still other elections, so maybe they will. Well, anyway, they are very strong in Osun State. We sincerely hope that those in Osun State are learning lessons from Anambra State. So don't believe in who or what you were yesterday. The situation are far different now. APGA is solidly on ground. They are reaching the people, they are touching them. They are in touch with the people every now and then. Where are the PDP members? Immediately this election finishes, their flag bearer and all those big wigs that moved to Oka, they are all coming back to Abuja. You know, you must connect with the people for you to be able, not shout, not noise. That's what we have learnt.
We have seen in Anambra clearly that APGA is on ground. 72% of the vote, and the closest, which is the APC, had only about 17 or 70% of that vote. Of the votes. Then following it, also the next party that came after the APC, which is the what do you call it, YPP, came with 16% of the vote. Then Labour Party, of course, had about 2% of the vote. And the PDP, with the 11,000 votes it garnered, is less than 1% of the vote.
And they will all still shout. Well, let's see whether some of them will go to court.
Well, not much has been heard. Going to court on a matter of such landslide victory is not necessary. It is. It will be advisable that the party saves its money. All other persons should save their money and then use their money to organize herself and then build her structures in a manner that it can make a very strong feature in the elections ahead.
I sincerely hope they are listening to you.
We shall be going on a break, and after the break, when we return, the line shall be thrown open, and of course, callers can join in this conversation. Let's talk about the Anambra election.
Okay.
Welcome back to the Polity. We are discussing the Anambra election, the outcome, victory for the APGA, victory for APGA, almost saying the APC, yes. The All Progressive Grand Alliance of the party, and it has polled a significant percentage of that vote. 72% of that vote is no mean feat. It established that the party is on ground. That is the kind of landslide victory that any politician, any political party will want to record in an election, such that there will be no need for unnecessary litigation where the opponents are hoping for one form of technicality or the other to thwart the election, to get what they call a rerun or an outright cancellation of the whole thing. Now, with this victory, and those trailing with just 70%, 16%, 1.8%, and of course the PDP that had 11,000 vote plus with less than 1% of the vote, clearly shows that victory is on the side of the All Progressive Grand Alliance. Now the people will be expecting that the party should perform, and that is what they want. That is the reason they voted the party. They've seen it before, and so they want to see more of it. And this lap is one in which we are going to be looking at what should the people expect from Anambra State. But while we wait for that, while we talk about that, you'll be joining us in the conversation. The lines are on the screen for you to make your calls so that you can have your own input to this conversation going forward. I'm sure many of you from Anambra State will want to call, having known that this matter is directly connected to your societal advancement. So the lines are open. We expect your call. So with this victory now, what does it say to the people of Anambra State in terms of project performance? They call it the Soludo solution.
Yes, the Soludo solution. I think there is a risk here at the run. The first time for elected officials in this country, as we have seen in the past, is to serve the people. That is what we have seen. The second term, well, is to serve. It will be very difficult, except the governor is committed, since he has nothing to lose anymore now. He has to really be a good man for him to work with the same energy, with the same commitment that he worked in the first term. Honestly, not many people will blame him if his performances fall short of what we had in the first term. It is very Nigerian. But we sincerely hope with Soludo's
solution.
Yes, solution, and his level of education, and with his as somebody that has seen it all, we believe that he's not going to behave like the typical Nigerian politician, because the second term is usually for them to amass wealth and to take care of themselves, to fortify themselves against is it poverty? No governor is poor, even at the first time. So whatever they are looking for, we really don't know. But they don't used to perform in the second term. But I want to believe that Soludo will not be like that. Soludo will truly be the solution Anambra people have been looking for, have been waiting for. So in his second term, he will hit the ground running again and cover all those lost grounds, all those ideas that he still had, he still has for his people, that did not permit him, or resources did not permit him to touch and attend to in his first term, that he will still go ahead and reach out to the people. Well, he didn't win the election 100%. There were still some communities that did not vote for him. Well, if he looks closely at the result of the election, he'll be able to identify those areas where they did not vote for him. So he has to be the governor of Anambra State, not only for those sections that voted for him. He has to carry the entire state along, both in terms of political appointments, political patronage, and equally for distribution of resources of the state. I want to join many people in saying that I believe in him, and I know that, and I want to pray that we do very well. I remember some years back when I went to Anambra to participate in the coverage of election. The people are very well enlightened. The people of Anambra State are among the most educated in this country, and they know what they want, and they've demonstrated it. They've demonstrated this in this election. So I know that nobody can fool them. And so if the administration changes from what it used to be, from what it used to be, the people will shout immediately. Yeah.
The lines are still open for you to join us in the conversation, viewers. And while that is on, we also need to look at, as the party looks at this development which it has won, and one for which is, of course, an Eliza for them in the state. What would be your counsel to the party, with the people, to the party in relation to the to the people, and then to the government for the people? Because party is on one side now. Party has been able to deliver its candidate.
Yes.
What is the responsibility of the party to the government, to its own people?
I think now that the election is over, this is the time for jubilation. I believe both the government and the party must not allow the jubilation to go on for too long. There is work to be done, and they have the people to serve. The essence of the whole thing, for the party and for the government, is to serve, is to win election and serve the people. They must not forget the people, even when they are sharing the spoils of election victory. The people should be ultimate at the back of their hand, because there is the tendency to want to say that well, this government is APGA government, or that we are the ones that installed this government. Those sections that did not vote for this government, they cannot be getting amenities, while those of us that work assiduously for your election, we have not been fully satisfied. The resources of the state does not belong to APGA 100%. It should be shared among every segment of the community, including those who do not want to see Soludo eye to eye. So the APGA is now the party that is in power, and when you are in power, you must ensure that your power reaches to the farthest recess of the state, not just where your membership are alone. Yes.
Ella, when you were talking about the expectation of the states, and then you expressed fear that for a governor who is serving second term, the chances for him to become what they call layback in his activities, given the fact that he has nothing to lose, is very high. But again, you expressed some sense of optimism when you said, I hope he will be a good man, which people believe him to be, and I expect of him. I want to just put, sorry, there's a call coming in. Let's see if we can get this call. Yes. Who is calling, and where are you calling from? Oh, the line has gone off.
Wow.
Okay, and in looking at that, I want to ask. Soludo has 3 opportunities ahead of him in Nigerian polity. The first one is one that can come after 4 years. Most governors, after leaving office, are seeking to go to the Senate. In seeking to go to the Senate, it means they have to battle whoever the senator is from their particular zone. And so that is an issue. That is one, which is 4 years. So that inspiration, should it be enough for him to perform? That is one. Then the second one is in 6 years from now, the presidency from the south will move to the north, and the chances are that the northern candidate will have to pick a southern vice president. And for a long time, there have been a clamor that the southeast has really not been shortchanged in the presidency, even though it is the number one is sick. And then with the performance of the governor, and maybe if he performs more in the second term, will that give him a chance? That is 6 years from now. And the other again being that in 12 years time, when the southern term is finished, and then another 8 years from the north, of course the southeast, from being the power may return to the south, and the southeast have the opportunity to, we do not know, okay, I don't know his age now to have known how old he would have been at that time. That opportunity is still
quite young.
Yeah, and that opportunity still lays
there. Cameroonian president can say.
Well, with such display of intelligence and taking care of himself, he will still be relevant in the polity. But when you look at this, should this not serve as an Elisa, knowing that once Nigerian politicians taste politics, they prefer to die in office than actually being out of office. So should that not inspire him to work for the people?
I think Soludo has more than just 3 options that will fire him to want to perform. Number one is his name. His name. I think he's gone very far in life.
And that also talks about international jobs, possibly.
Yes, he's gone very far in life for him to want to taint all that he has achieved in just
4 years.
Just 4 years. So I want to strongly believe that he knows that he still has a lot of opportunities ahead of him. He still has immense potentials to still be part of the governance in this country and to still be relevant in the world. So he has every reason to want to do far more than he has done in the last 4 years. Now, maybe he wants to go into the Senate. Well, he's qualified too. Maybe in 2028. He wants to still.
Sorry, 2030, not 2030. 2030. Yes.
Thank you. He wants to still be relevant in Nigerian politics, and maybe he's eyeing the vice president position. Well, we don't know the position APGA will be at that material time. Maybe APGA will be in serious contention for the presidency at that material time, or maybe he will have jumped ship to the party that is more relevant. That he is also qualified to want to do that, and then maybe by that time, 8 years after 2030, maybe 2038. He wants to be president from the south again. Is equally qualified. What will happen then will be determined by these 4 years. Or by these 4 years. But since I know that he is immensely qualified to still be anything that he wants to be in the Nigerian political system.
Yes, so he's eminently qualified for anything he wants to be in the Nigerian political system. And the second term syndrome in most politicians, both presidents, governors, local government chairman, they struggle to perform in the first term is common, so that it will be seen as a very good leverage to rely upon in seeking second term. People canvassing for vote and support to be pointing at that success as that laudable achievement for you to get a second term. But one of the common practices is that when they return, the people tend to see less performance from such person, from such governors. But I think the former governor of Anambra State was not like that in the person of Peter Obi when he returned as second term governor. There seemed to be a consistency in his part of development of the state until he left office. But most times when they come, they perform less, and then even in their choice of people who are going to take over from them, you see that the choice of persons is not one that is very, very sound, not one that is really encouraging, as it were. It's not one that tells that, yes, these people want to be able to continue to advance us. And that, of course, tells why the Nigerian states, as national level and the sub-national level, are the way we are. We are in a very in a state that many people would have expected us to go far beyond. Yes. So we are hoping that a governor will look at this and make some very impactful moves in the second term, so that it will, of course, bring Anambra once more in the map as a state that is very, very lucky to have politicians who are committed to their name, who are committed to the development of their state, and also one that want to be good example to all the states in the federation. Yes. I guess, can you please just, in rounding up, what will you be your last comment to the people of Anambra having gotten this second term for the governor who was performing before now, for whom they pick again?
Okay, permit me, Mr. Moderator, to first say a word or two to INEC.
You go ahead.
On this election, to the new INEC chairman. it's a very good performance, one that everybody is applauding. He has started on a good note, and he has won many people
by this
to his side by this performance. You know, when he came in, not a few criticized him. Many were still in doubt as to whether he's going to improve the electoral system or drown it. But with this one, he has done well with the shot of the gun, with the start of the race. He has done well, but we must say that this is a very small election compared to what we still have ahead of him. Ekiti may just be like may just be like Anambra, but Osun State may not be.
All right, all right, that is the most we can take on the program, The Polity, here on Captain TV. Thank you very much for joining us. Until we come again tomorrow on The Polity with another interesting topic, bye-bye from now.